Moroto district is situated in the mid-northeastern Uganda. It lies between latitudes 1005 north and longitudes 33,038 and 34,056 east. It shares borders with Kotido in the north, Lira in the northwest, Katakwi in the west, and Nakapiripirit in the south. The entire borderline is shared with the Republic of Kenya. Moroto was part of what was formerly called Karamoja province or region, which was later split in 1971 with creation of Moroto district in July 2001. There was further split with the creation of Nakapiripirit district. The inhabitants are of two major tribes, Karamojong as the main inhabitants of the rangelands and the Tepeth who live on the mountains of Moroto and Napak. While these people have differences in language and culture, they share a similar socio-economic lifestyle, that is, they are agropastoralists practicing subsistence crop production and semi-nomadic animal rearing. 10 years ago, no one visualized the current magnitude of the mining in Karamoja sub-region, a region that is now popular for its vast mineral resources such as gold, marble, limestone, gypsum, etc. Child labor is common with minors under the age of 10, often used to collect tota for washing the gold. Karamoja is a male chauvinist society where a girl child are considered source of labor and income. In Rupa sub-county and Nangidit marble mining centers is where most girls go to break rocks, dig the soil, load trolleys with marble, fetch water for washing gold to earn a living. Thirteen-year-old Nakiru, who stays in Lokitela Kapeth, is exposed to girl child labor, and this is her story.
My
name is Nakiru, who stay in Lokitela Kapeth. Thank you for coming to listen to our problems. We have a lot of problems here in Karamoja, and if you've come to help us, then that's good. If the government can help us through this poverty, because where we cut the trees is too far. In the wee hours of the night, where we burn charcoal is far, together with insecurity in the region. We get attacked by wild animals at times. Some of us are being raped due to lonely roots from the bush. As you can see me now, I haven't eaten since morning, no water to drink, food. Just know it's all about poverty and suffering, together with my parents who are unable to sustain the family. As you see me, I started selling retail charcoal at the age of 13. So I do request any good Samaritan to help us.
Aya ni limo gina yon ka wre ata marito apudor mo kona nga tamara mo kona ni won tor kona yon apudor nga bo kona ke ari olo dukun borenda ara na ngi sheri mutereda ama ka da to na go kino na bur to na nya chanta ki gel tamari ngali pio nga kan ngali pio nga uni kinya ko je ko to na ni lalu ko da lugu ma mo re ki ngara kina ta tano na berata ni gelun ta na kriata ni pamari ta nga kriano go mam ta ni dole te na kriaret Parang berenda ada to kana imarakin cewang tadi ngata orang alpiang kana mo je ngam berete mokin.
Not only Nakiru, Teko Maria is also a victim of girl child labor, and this is her story. My name is Teko Maria. I come from Kidepo. I fetch firewood from a place called Lokitelaka Peth. This firewood is what feeds our family, but it cannot take me to school. I do fetch firewood from Namijimij village and I get only 3,000 shillings, which cannot buy 1 kilogram of maize. So I end up buying granite paste and silver fish with the vegetables cooked at home. Where I fetch firewood is too far, and the very firewood is what my brothers and family depend on. What can I do then? My parents are too old and helpless. They want me to get married, but I do not want. I want to go back to school. As a child, selling firewood is what I can do to feed my family. I do carry them even for 1 week and they can stay without being bought. My parents are forcing me to get married, but I do not want because I want to go back to school. Koryang Solomon, chairperson LC1 of Natum Kaskov village. He discourages girl child labor and he plays a big role of sensitizing the community against girl child labor.
I'm the area LC1 Natum Kaskov village, but not only Natum Kaskov, managing 3 villages. I have Naro, Nagis, and Natum Kaskov. Those are the villages I'm managing. On the side of child labor, I can explain to you. Child labor here operates, and when it operates, some of us were not been encouraging child labor. That's why we are concerned at times. We object to that. We correct. Like of recent, I had a young girl which was brought to me. She stayed with me for 3 days at home. Over child labor, the same thing. Then I had to report to the Mufumi office, which Mufumi helped me towards that girl the other day, almost 3 days. And the Mufumi office cancelled those families now, and that case was settled. But the issue of child labor, first, we're not encouraging.
Odelek Thomas, coordinator Kauo, Karamoja Women Umbrella Organization. Thomas says girl child labor starts from the family where the girl is born, because Karamoja is a patriarchal society and therefore considers girls for labor production.
When you talk about child labor here, we really see so many things happening in Karamoja, and one of it is that child labor in Karamoja starts from the family. I do not want us to take advantage of the mining sites, that it happens in the mining sites, but I think child labor here starts from the family in a way that we see that it is a girl child that is being appreciated. Of course, we all know that Karamoja is a patriarchal society, a male-dominated society, and they seem to be like they don't see the benefit that is attached to a girl child when it comes to formal sector in terms of education. The focus here is basically that they're able to get dowry, and that is why child labor starts with the pretense that preparing this girl to go and take care of the family when she gets married. So here child labor starts from the family. We see so many girls moving around with charcoal. We see so many girls moving around with carrying a lot of things, working as maids, and yet they are below the age. They are not at school. So we should appreciate child labor that it starts from the family. It doesn't start from like the mining site. It now goes beyond when now the child has seen that the opportunities within the family are all depleted. That's when the child will go outside the family. So there are quite a number of things. So here it starts from the family, where girl child is the one taking care of the young ones, the girl child is the one collecting firewood, the girl child is the one collecting water, the girl child. So what I'm talking about here is that there are girl child-led forms. There's the father and the mother and all the other children, sisters, but brothers, but you realize it's this child that is taking care of the family.
He further says that the culture of Karamoja encourages girl child labor since girls have too much responsibilities of taking care of their family members, and the girls are also looked at as a source of dowry.
So child labor starts from home. So you can see how this child is preparing, this child is traumatized, this child is undergoing stress and violence. Of course, we're all aware that there are quite a number of policies like the child policy, but in Karamoja we seem not to be implementing it very well, and not even in Karamoja, across the region, in the country. Why? Because for us we believe, that those policies are there for those that know how to read. But also we were not consulted during the time of maybe perhaps when those things were formulated. But I think that is one thing that we see in terms of child labor in Karamoja. There is too much, of course, the family. Of course, you can now see how this child is prepared from the family now to the informal sector, where now she begins now showing like trying to look for opportunities outside home. That's why they see that they're in the mining site. The child is the one who comes to maybe Swahili here for the case of Moroto to look for maybe this casual labor in order for her to fend the family. Remember, this child is just like 12 years, 9 years, 10 years, but she's already exposed. She's already a mother. Of course, this is just to pretend that she's preparing to take care of her family. So you can now see how child labor has kind of moved on from the family to now outside.
Like transformative centers where girls are sensitized about the benefits of girl-child education. What are other stakeholders doing to stop girl-child labor?
However, as a KAU, we have done a number of interventions in terms of collaborating and working closely and creating linkages with those stakeholders in making sure that we have, we really appreciate and empower community to take up action and of course to embrace education as one of the strategies to prevent and respond to child labor in the region. The other thing that we have also done in the way that we work collaboratively, that is at the national level with international and national organizations to make sure that we influence policies that are gender sensitive, that is at the national level. So all this effort is towards ending child-made labor in the region, but also making sure that the actions are sustained, and that's why we involve the elders, we involve the religious institutions, the leaders, and all the men and women, the youth and the girls in terms of intervention, so that they can own this and they can be champions, our ambassadors, our advocates when it comes to issues that affect women and girls in the region and beyond.
Julius Emuko, Program Officer, Uganda Change Agent Association, implementing Karamoja Children at Risk project, says the cultural norms of Karamoja expose girl child to too much labor at a tender age, especially income-generating labor, for example, working in mines and quarrying centers.
Looking at the biggest number of children that are in the streets of Kampala are all from Napak. That's why we have actually concentrated in Napak. But although we resettle other children in other areas, in other regions of Karamoja, but most of the biggest number is there. Now, in relation to a safer place for a girl child, whether it is safe in Karamoja, when you look at the cultural norms of Karamoja, the female child is actually exposed at the early age, because you find that the female has to provide in a home.
Nachap Mary, Woman Councillor for Boma North Division, Moroto Municipality. Nachap says girls are subjected to too much labor and little pay, especially in Rupert sub-county, and therefore the girls have stunted growth. She appeals to women to promote girl-child education. She also calls upon girls and women to raise their voices against girl-child exploitation and oppression.
But the problem that our girls are facing, especially in the villages. For instance, I take a couple of Rupert sub-county, where girls have gone to the mining site. When you see a workload given to a girl or a girl child, working from morning to sunset, then in the evening, benefiting different. Then, this is what that this girl is doing. One, the girl is already tolerated. In growth, there's no good growth. Two, the girl remains as short as she is. You can't realize and you can't believe when they tell and give you that this girl is 12 years. You may think it's a child of 3-4 years.
Veronica Nadu is a total orphan and has no one to take her at school, and therefore goes to a mining center due to poverty and hunger to earn a living, since her guardians want her to get married.
My name
is Veronica Naduk. I come from Lupupu. Why I come here is to break the marbles so that I can get some money to feed my family. My guardians want to marry me off to a man I even do not know, and yet I'm not ready for marriage. I want to go back to school, but there is no money to educate me. Topos Martin, a resident in Acholi Inn Village, Rupa Sub-County, and a teacher by profession who owns a pit in Nangidit Marble Mining Center. Topos receives cases of children starving and need help from him. He gives these children light work to enable them earn a living. As a teacher, Topos condemns girl child labor and the culture in Karamoja, which does not support girl child education, since they assume that if girls go to school, they become prostitutes.
I come from all the way from Acholi Inn Village in Rupa Sub-County. So I'm a teacher by profession, and according to our profession, we actually condemn child labor. But currently, there are a lot of challenges in Rupa here, majorly in the mining site of Nanyidik. So where you find that there is a lot of poverty in the area. So when I come for mining in my pit, I majorly find young kids, which sometimes I even don't feel like employing, but because of the challenges they tell me in the village, that they have a lot of poverty, they have not eaten for the last 3 days, so I'm forced to employ them, such that they're able to get something small. And there is also a challenge in Anyidikia, whereby you find that it is the young children who are supposed to feed the family. So at the end of the day, it is the young children who are supposed to go to the bush to cut firewood, and they are the ones to come and remove soil from the mining pits. And you find that the mothers themselves are in the village, they are not doing any work, so the children are forced to go and do work to look for money for the family. So that is the major problem which is in Anyidikia.
We have come up with so many interventions in the areas of income generating activities, putting them into groups and showing that they have time to share experiences. We have brought them, and then always we put them in camps. When we put them in camps, that's the moment they actually share. Then we have those ones that we taken them as ambassadors. That through those ones, that ambassadors that have actually succeeded within, actually can show these ones when they talk to them, they're actually being, there's that influence.
My name is Nakong. Why I have come here is because of poverty and hunger. There is no one to help me at home. I am a widow, and it's my children helping me. KM Andrew Napaja, Chairman LOC 5 Moroto. He says there is no child labor, but rather there is labor for muscle development, voluntary labor, home labor, and continues that there is a misconception in Karamoja of child labor. The people who give girl children too much work are to be questioned, since too much labor, like working in lorries and mines, can cause body harm. Therefore, parents should take full responsibility of the girl children.
What we need to do is to take hold of the people who cause children to do work. Those people must be questioned to understand what a child is. And they must be questioned to know that the work you are giving a child is not proportionate to the strength, to the age, and to the way the child is. The work which when a child does, maybe it may cause bodily harm, it might cause what we call now maybe the future deformation, the child is deformed. So those are the areas we need to look at. For instance, in Moroto here, we have got stone quarries. The people go with the lorries and then tell children to throw some stones on top of the lorry and fill the lorry. But a responsible person must come up to say, "You child, you cannot do this work. It's not your work. The work for this work is for the elderly people." So those are the people we should question, and they should be the one taken into question to ask them why are you making the children do this work?
Sheikh Abdul Wahab Suleiman, Imam of Masjid Nur in Moroto, says girl child labor exists in Karamoja and the culture considers the girls as a source of labor and dowry. As a religious leader, he is trying to sensitize the masses against girl child labor.
It is there, but as a religious leaders, we are trying to educate people about sensitize so that it can get in. But it is still hard because there is some people, widows, even some old men who are using those girls as their resource. They do send them in town here. They find they are the one working for the family because of poorness which is there. But we are trying. There is some organization which used to come in and we do sensitizing to see that it stops, but it is still pretty hard because of the survival. But we are trying.
Maxon Akol Ojao, Senior Educational Officer. Maxon says girls are exploited with too much work and little pay. Besides girl child labor, there is also girl child trafficking in parts of Napak district, and therefore, schools should be a safe place for the girl child.
Has brought a lot of challenges. The challenge that has caused damage to the girl child. The girl child has been forced to look for alternative survival. Alternative survival in various places. Our girls are in the market, on casual labor. Our girls are on the streets looking for petty jobs. Our girls are in the mining areas. Our girls have looked for friends who can substitute their necessary needs. Our girls have been forced to marry at an early age. Our girls have endangered themselves to various diseases. We have on top of COVID-19, this is the coronavirus. They have forgotten about other diseases like HIV, AIDS. They have forgotten about these scabies, which they have nicknamed loco. All those have forced the girl child to look for alternative survival. Child labor is in the increase because our parents have run from their responsibility. They have not programmed these children since they came from school. When COVID-19 came and the president declared it that we cannot make our children die because for them they don't know what is social distancing. Our parents have not programmed these children so that they can have routines at the family level. This is what I can assure you now. The school was a safe place. Now that the children have gone to whom it may concern, parents are not bothered. They think that by children working in those places, in the mining places, children working in the bars, children working in the restaurants, children fetching water for others, children washing clothes, children being now the workers, carrying items for sale, they think it is a survival strategy. Yet, it is also an exploitative measure. You are actually carrying for a bucket of items for sale and earning only 500 shillings at the end of the day. That's what we call child exploitation. It now brings to child labor. The child carries and the distance the child is moving, nobody knows.
To any good Samaritan, please take us to school. As per my parents, if you see them, they cannot afford to take me to school due to this poverty that has made our parents to go and look after other people's cattle. Now with our poor family backgrounds, our parents tend to force us to get married to men who are like our grandfathers against our will. And if you refuse or run away, they ask who will take you to school. Now that charcoal itself cannot bring enough money to the family, you can get 3,000 or 5,000 shillings with all this on you. You end up getting married. Remember, burning of the charcoal is too risky that you may be raped and your parents are not aware of the violence against you. So if there is any good Samaritan or sponsor to step in and help us, then getting married.
Kita berai tension mula pudar. Ayat kana shana iti. Ayat unter tanda maka lugaru kita shada kangi dai ludadang. Kala alamare ramne alamare action maka ya dita no way oterenge chan ke ko dikal. Alamare action maka. Tona na nka ka uri kada dang rukito ka do aloite. Ana bur papa de buni kit rukutu dadang akwari tekiyar toto dang. Mamta ni do ngilakal. Oterenge chan. Te ko ni lo di da ga choni ngamakai toru ko ngi cha shamta ko kina ki go pa yende ngon ka ura ko terenge chan brenda da night rasha night ko ka pikinte na tunganya ka ya rialo dukula rasha shamna pudar.
The parents, what you do now, you people leave coming to ask questions, go to direct to the Manyata and get the people and tell them the message that children are your children. They come from you. What you do is let them grow up to become responsible for the future. But they should grow up with the strength, able to do every work for the future, for their life. But it must not be given work which will deteriorate their ability to grow, and later they become deformed and they are not able to grow and do work for themselves for the future. You know, humanity, you must have people who will do work. That is why what we are doing is as a result of growth from the Manyat, from home. It's as a result of growth. That's why you see some people digging a trench for a house, a foundation. If that person did not grow up properly from childhood to handle some work at light time, to strengthen his body systems, then he will not be able to make a foundation for the house.
You find that some of our parents, girls I give away is for wealth, for pride. You find parents to go and negotiate with a man, an older man, which is only left 2 months to die, because of 80,000. Then I appeal to women, wake up. Let us grow in this nation, knowing that the woman is a nation. Stop selling our girls. It is not written anywhere that a girl child is for cows or it is for wealth. Please educate the few that are there, and we shall never get tired.
This firewood cannot educate me but only feed the family. What can I do? I also want to go to school. What can I do to help my family? Karamoja region is blessed with several minerals, but its people are living in hardships and extreme poverty, which exposes the girl child to too much labor.